Hi Taurus, welcome to your week ahead taroscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. A quick note, my readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign, Hi Taurus, welcome to your week ahead taroscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, my readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant signs. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Taurus, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you. With that said, remember they are general reads. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody, and that is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So your key to the week this week, you've got the Tower card, right? Now, in a lot of ways, when this card shows up, yes, it's sudden, it's unexpected. We have multiple tower moments in a lifetime, right? Sometimes multiple tower moments in a fucking day. Excuse my language, but you know, like it be like that sometimes. Now, all jokes aside, one thing that I do want you to be fully aware of and prepared for is that you are... This week, the tower, you're under the tower, right? And what this suggests is whatever moves you are planning to make at the moment, keep your plans flexible. The reason I say this is because I kind of get the feeling that maybe some move that you're about to make, it may not have the results that you are expecting or planning for, right? And so this is why I say if you can keep your plans flexible, you're more likely or less likely to get into a bind of some sort. And I kind of feel like whatever you're trying to do or whatever you think you're doing, you know, I'm doing this from a place of love, I'm doing this out of a good heart or whatever. This kind of feels, if I'm honest, Taurus, I've got to be honest with you, you guys know I always am, but this feels like a week where the road to hell could be paved with good intentions. Take a moment to think about what it is that you're planning to do, what it is that you're planning to share, what it is that you're, where it is that you might be planning to extend yourself or some offer. It's not so much that it won't be well received, it's just that it may have unforeseen consequences, ramifications, results, ripples, etc. And so therefore, I just want you to think about it, because you might not... You know, you might not get what you thought you were getting, and you might not end up offering what you thought you were offering. All right, if you're a continued subby, you know Rafi loves you. And if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and it resonates, hit that subscribe button. For your actions and options this week, you've got the Queen of Cups. So it looks like an important woman is very much on your mind, right? So your Queen of Cups is usually in a woman's spread. This will show up as her as mother and wife, you know, or girlfriend, etc. But will also show up as her mother. In a man's spread, the Queen of Cups can very often speak to, you know, an important woman in his life. So wherever you are on that spectrum of identity, etc., take a moment to think about who the Queen of Cups really represents for you. And then take a further moment to really ask yourself, what is this connection costing me, right? So is there a connection with a friend, with a loved one, with a prominent woman in your life? How are things with them? Because it looks like they're coming up in your space, which means they are either needing more support this week, and it may be in response to the Tower. This Tower card may be where you're thinking, well, you know what, maybe I need to be more understanding, more loving, more this, more that. This could be a week where you end up smothering through trying to help. And it's, you know, it's like the worst thing, isn't it? You know, when you really just feel so deeply for someone that you just want to help, and you come across as being as like either controlling or like whatever it might be. This, I'm going to say this to you, and it might seem odd or maybe like a juxtaposition, but this week I would urge you to step back. Where you, that moment that you feel yourself needing to step in, needing to help, needing to rescue, needing to do whatever, take a step back. And by doing so, I actually think that it will be much more beneficial for you and the other party. For your communications and conversations, you've got the Eight of Pentacles. When it comes to work, the profession, any form of the professional life this week, I'm adding something new because I've had a lot of requests for it recently. So for those of you that are students, this may be, for some of you, maybe you've been working on an essay or a deadline or something in that sphere. And I'm really sorry because it comes up with the Tower card. This could be that you've written half the essay and you realize you got the freaking title wrong. This could be where you're having to take a really sharp U-turn on something that you, like maybe you were super clear on what what was being asked of you, and then you realize you've gone on a complete tangent for, 6-7 pages. There's something about your studies this week that you're having to renege or to redouble your efforts on. You're having to go backward in some way. Unfortunately, it is what it is. When it comes to those of you that are employed by somebody else, especially with the Tower card here, especially with everything that I said earlier, don't be so quick to fix something. If something's coming to an end in the career sector this week, if something's coming to an end at work, be careful who you step in to defend, first of all, because it looks like you don't know all of the story. Like, you could step in to defend someone to the boss, right, saying, look, the way you're talking to them is really unfair. What you don't know in the background is that this person's been stealing from the company for the last 6 months and has now been hit with the book. Do you see what I mean? And then, you trying to do a good deed or whatever, you're suddenly guilty by association, and now you're under investigation because you were defending that person. It's just an example that comes to mind that I actually feel intuitively, but, figure that out in your own sphere. For those of you that are business owners, people that work for themselves, quite honestly, this may very well be a week where you realize that the work that you're doing is only the tip of the iceberg, and suddenly you have a lot more to go. You got a lot more that's suddenly going to be demanded of you, either very quickly or out of nowhere. And it might leave you with a moment of like, okay, now I'm staring at a mountain. Does anyone know how to scale this thing? This week, I would say take a step back, take a breath first, and then ask yourself if you need to outsource. When it comes to those of you that are retired and no longer working, I would give some consideration this week to, because I kind of feel like you're going to offer a skill or a service or a support to somebody for nothing. And that's wonderful. But if you charge for that, they're more likely to listen to you, quite frankly. I don't know why. It's a bit of a human paradox. Till we part with our cash, we're like, got this advice. It was great. Thanks for that. And you don't really do much with it. But when you've had to part with your hard-earned cash for that advice, you tend to take it on board. For your love and relations, you've got the Page of Swords, right? So in the relationship sector, for a select few of you, things do look like they're a little bit tempestuous, right? It does look like a week where we're having a few more disputes or a bit more harsh words than we would like. It's not deal breakers. There's no relationship ending here. It could be, if you are in a partnership, maybe your partner comes to you and says, oh, by the way, this is happening. And your first instinct, because it's your partner, because it's your loved one, is to step in, to fix, to save, to be the savior, to, this is my partner, and ride off on your horse and all the rest of it, using all of your smarts. And then you find out that it was them that fucked up, and now you look like an idiot because you defended them. Hold back. Take a step back, take a breath, take a moment, let them deal, and then if they ask, step in, by all means. I'm not saying, let your loved one just sort of sit and suffer. I'm saying don't react first, right? Take a minute, let them see if they can mop up their own mess first. For those of you that are single, you could get into a little bit of a brain off with someone this week, and it could really rub you the wrong way. And I gotta be honest with you, Taurus, it looks like they're giving you a run for your money. And I think this is actually quite healthy for you. I actually think this is good for you. And you might have a moment where you're like, I can't stand this person. And then you stand there thinking for a minute and you're like, oh my God, I'm totally attracted to them. Help me. It could be one of those very funny or tragic moments, whichever way you see it. For your money and materials, you've got the Lover's card. This is actually a really nice card for money because it suggests that whatever you're doing has a symbiotic relationship. Partnerships, connections, collaborations, all things coming up this week that can really lead to more money or more finances. You've got the Page of Swords coupled with the Lovers card. That's literally Gemini season. And because you've got this with the love and relations, I'm almost tempted to say to you here, whatever's going on with the partnership or the relationship may come up again in Gemini season, but it could just as easily suggest that some move that you are making on a personal level, on a financial level, will have impacts or results that reach into the relationship around Gemini season. Now, when it comes to your physical health and vitality, this is your arms, your hands, your fingers, all of your upper extremities. What I often say to people with the Lovers card as well, it's your airways, right? Like as in the actual airways, not necessarily just the throat. When it comes to, yeah, and because you've got the Tower card here as well, this would be a week if if you've got time and all the rest of it, go and get your ears, nose and your ENT checked out, ears, nose and throat. And then finally, when it comes to your home and environment, I mean, I like this because it suggests that this week, rather than get into all of the you're likely to find ways around that. And I kind of feel like, if I'm honest, you may, especially for those of you that are partnered, your partner might come to you and say, you know what, thank you for letting me deal with that in my own way. Anyway, for your new moon message, so the new moon for you is falling in your 11th house, especially for those of you that are ascendant Taurians to a lesser degree, but still relevant, the sun and the moon. The 11th house is all about your, it's benefactors, friendships, it's your larger social groups, it's even social media. It's one of the things that I like about the 11th house is it's benefactors, people that can help you, people that can assist you, people that can help you further your goals or your dreams. And it's also a house of gains, right? So this is a fresh start, a new beginning, a new moon, where you can plant a seed of intention on or around the 2nd of March from there onwards. And you can really start to, you can really start to see the universe is bringing new people to you. The universe is really helping you with the right kinds of people from here on in. Set the intention as well, and be selfish about them. They're your intentions after all, but try to set the intention to be a benefactor, to be a good friend, to be a good connection as well. So that way you're offering that, and therefore you attract that at the same time. You've got the Gate 20 and the Now, which is basically saying, when it comes to partnerships, connections, collaborations of the friendship and the work type, you need to be an open book this week, right? And more importantly, if you're going to collaborate with someone that you've collaborated with before, give them a clean slate. Who they were, how it was last time, let all of that go. And if you can't, move on. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.